Wow, doesn't that look good? Hey, these are egg rolls. Now, these are some chicken egg rolls, but this same recipe works for beef and pork and also shrimp. So, if you want some egg rolls, check this video out, and you're going to be making them fresh at home and nothing flat. Hello, welcome back to Texas Cooking. Today we're going to be producing some egg rolls, okay? Well, now I wanted to show the ingredients first of all for our filling. The wrapper itself is actually just a pasta wrapper. We'll get into taking care of that in a moment. Now, I wanted to start with the spices. We're going to start with some salt. I've got 2 cloves of minced garlic here. This is some MSG. Now MSG, that's monosodium glutamate. That is a type of salt, and it has by itself no flavor, but it enhances the flavor of other foods. It's kind of like turning the volume up on your stereo. It just makes it stronger or louder, and that's what it does with the flavor here. Ginger and soy sauce. Now these are going to be my flavorants to the food that I am making these egg rolls with, which is some onion shredded. I have shredded cabbage here, some shredded carrot, and diced chicken. So let's get on to how we make all of our egg rolls and how we roll those up, and how to make these things come out just right for you and your guests. Okay? You're going to find out this is a real easy dish to do. I have been cutting down my cabbage for our egg rolls. Now, what I wanted to show you about this is how you can get these nice thin shreds of cabbage, okay? Just make sure your knife is good and sharp to start with. Take your head of cabbage that you've quartered, and then put your fingers curved up on the cabbage and start making thin slices through it, just like so. See how I'm pushing forward on those and just making very, very thin little slices. And that's exactly what we're looking for, that right there. You want these nice thin slices, A, to cook down well, and also to fit well inside of that little egg roll wrapper, okay? So, all I have to do is just finish this up. Be careful when you get towards the end of these. You don't want it to flip over and accidentally cut yourself, okay? You might want to turn it sideways like so, and then finish your cutting. Alright. There we have our cabbage. Now I've also used a box grater, just like this one right here, and we shredded our carrot, and I'm about to start slicing onion also, and I want to slice the onion the same way I have done this cabbage, just thin slices. I'll cut it in half first, and then I'll take each half, lay it over, and then we're going to slice it down nice and thin. It's important to get all of your pieces good and small for these egg rolls, otherwise it's going to have lumps in it and it won't be very pleasant. You want everything to be small and very convenient for the size of the wrap. Okay? Now let's take the onion that I have. I want to cut those ends off, just like so. If you see any blemishes like I see right here on this side, just remove those, okay? Now, take that onion, split it in half. Take each half and make your thin slices, okay? Just like we did before with that cabbage. Now, you see how that slipped? You want to turn that onion around. Move that out of my way. Be careful when you get to this point, because that can turn real easy. If it wants to, let it and keep your fingers up and out of the way, okay? Look how simple and easy that is. And do your other one just the exact same way. There we go. Once you get that chopped down nice and small, you want to make sure you don't have any pieces that are too large in it. Get it all in your bowl. And what we do is get everything cut up first, and then once we have everything chopped and ready to go, then we start our cooking process, okay? There we have it. 1 bowl of onion, 1 bowl carrot, and some cabbage. This was about a half of a large head of cabbage, okay? And it looks like we've yielded about 4.5, 5, maybe even close to 6 cups. This right here, 1 large onion, cut thin, and this was about 4 carrots, medium-sized carrots that we shredded. Okay, and you can see the proportions here. Here we have about 1.5 cups. Here we have about 2 cups, and then as I mentioned before, anywhere from 4 to 6 on the cabbage. And this is going to wilt down really well, okay? Here we have the meat that we're going to be using for these particular egg rolls. I've decided to go with chicken for our egg rolls. Now, you can do chicken, beef, shrimp, goat meat, whatever suits your fancy, okay? You just put anything in there you'd like. A lot of people prefer pork. It does not have to be pork. It can be any meat you choose, okay? Now, what you want to do, though, is to make sure that whatever meat you're using is cut into small pieces, alright? So what I'm going to start doing is just making some nice thin slices off of that chicken, like so. And I'm making those thin quite on purpose, because I want the little pieces of meat to come from them to be small, thin, easy and fast to cook. Alright? There we go. Now, after I make several cuts like so, and you can do this however you'd like, I'm going to take this gathered up. I'm going to make some lengthwise cuts in it. Okay? Then, turn it this way, and you do need a sharp knife to do this kind of stuff. I'm going to make some cross cuts there. So we just get little bits of chicken that we can put in our mixture for our filling. And these will blend in well through several different egg rolls, but at the same time it won't give anybody a large bite of chicken. It'll just be small bits of chicken. That's what we want all the way through it. It's also a great way to stretch your ingredients too. You're not going to need a lot of chicken to do this. A single breast is going to be more than enough for this recipe. Okay, I want to keep cutting on this until I get everything cut down to what I need. And I'm looking for just small pieces like so. Well, we also need to get our garlic minced down now. I'm going to be using a little bit of garlic in our egg rolls. Now, if you would, fine mince that garlic. You're going to be needing it to disperse well throughout those egg rolls, and you want little tiny pieces. You don't want somebody biting into a big chunk of garlic. There we go. It looks like we got us some nice fine mince on that. That'll do well for our egg rolls. Okay, just a little extra pickup. Now we're done. Move on to the next step. Alright, it's time to do the filling for our egg rolls. I have here a wok that has been heating and it's getting nice and hot in the bottom. Let's put some peanut oil right down in the bottom there, and I'm just going to put in a few tablespoons. So take that and run it around. Put our chicken directly in there. The same way you do a stir fry. Now you want to be sparing with salt when you're cooking this dish, and most of your ingredients are going to go in at the end. However, when I first start, just for the meat, I add a tiny bit of salt, about 1/4 to a half a teaspoon, and no more. And you see how that chicken is cooked up real nice? It's almost cooked through. You see any big pieces? Just cut those in half with your spoon. Now, just when the chicken hits the point that I'm not seeing any more pink on the outside of it, that's when I want to put in some of my other vegetables. We're going to start right here with this onion. And I have this burner on high. Now, if you wish at this point to cover this and to steam down your vegetables a little bit, you can certainly do that, and that's perfectly fine. Now, in addition to the onions that I put on there, I'm going to go ahead and pour onto the top of that cabbage. Okay? There we go. We'll put my lid on there, and I'm going to let it steam for just a little bit. It's been about 7 minutes now since I started cooking the chicken on this. I did add in about 1/4 cup of water, okay? If it starts to give you a little bit of caramelizing on the bottom, just do that. Just add a little bit of water, because right now all we're trying to do is to get that cabbage to cook down real well. Look how much it's reduced already, okay? Now, once it's cooked down to this point, let's go ahead and put some carrot in there. Well, this is going to make some really good egg rolls. Really good ones. Simple cooking, healthy cooking. We have now been cooking for about somewhere around 12 to 13 minutes. This has now cooked down. It's gotten really good and soft. That's exactly what you're looking for, okay? Now, we didn't season this yet. Have you noticed that? Well, that's because in Asian cooking, often seasoning is done right toward the end of cooking. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spread this out just a little bit, and I'm going to take my seasonings and put them right down across there. Now, if you are cooking with soy sauce, you don't need much salt, okay? Because soy sauce is loaded with salt. It is heavy in it. So I'm just going to set the salt aside. They have started removing MSG from soy sauce, so if you want MSG in there, you got to add it yourself, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. And I'm going to put in about 1/4 to half a teaspoon there. I have 2 cloves of garlic there. Let's put that in, and let's take some ginger powder, and I'm going to sprinkle it across the top. There we go, just like so. Let's take that soy sauce. Whichever brand you prefer. I'm not going to tout one over the other until they pay me to. There we go. And just stir that in, working it in thoroughly. And then I'm going to take my chicken, and I'm going to put it And if you taste it and you feel it needs a little more ginger, a little more garlic, a little more soy, then just certainly add that, okay? Be careful with your spices and don't overwork them. And I would say give it just a few minutes to cook those spices lightly. You don't want them to be raw in the egg roll mixture, okay? So I'm going to cover this again and let it steam for just a little bit longer. I've stirred this once in the last 2 minutes of cooking, and now it's finished. 2 minutes left. We're done. Now, I have this filling that I finished making. It's beautiful. I want to let it cool just a little bit, and I'm going to start putting it inside of my egg rolls, and then I'm going to show you how to make those egg rolls nice and crispy and bubbly on the outside, just the way you're used to seeing them. Okay, we're ready to get to rolling up our egg rolls. Now, I want to show you the little dirty secret about what you can do here. This will make this a lot easier. This is a package of egg roll wrappers, alright? And all this is just really thin pasta sheets. And when they come in these packages, they'll sometimes stick on the edges, so just gently pull them apart. These are about twice the thickness of an average paper towel. Put them down on a plate. Now, take your filling and use the amount of filling that you would normally see a full egg roll be. So, you know, an egg roll is what, about an inch, inch and a half in diameter and about 3 inches long. So, put about that amount of filling in there. If you feel it's not enough, add a little bit to it, and that's fine. Now, to make the pasta stick when you roll it, this is important. I have here a plain paintbrush and a little bit of water, and I'm going to paint this outer edge right across here. What this does is it activates the gluten that's in the flour, and that gluten, when activated, will act just like a glue that'll hold the whole thing together while you get it into your pot to cook it for the final time. Now, the final cook is going to be very simple. That's going to be, now you notice how I roll this a little bit? Fold your corner in and stick it. Fold your corner in and stick it. And then finish rolling it, and this up here will glue right down over it, okay? Here and here. Isn't that lovely? Beautiful egg roll. Now I'm going to roll up several of these, and then our next step is going to be frying that, and I'll show you how that's done. That last frying step only takes a moment, and it's only for the purpose of cooking this outer layer. The inside's already cooked. We are at the very last step in making our egg rolls. Now, what I have here is a pot with about an inch of oil in it. This is peanut oil. You can use whatever kind of oil you prefer. I like the peanut oil because it's both very tasty and healthy. Now, I heated this peanut oil up to 300 degrees. I have just now shut off the flame, and I'm turning it back on, and I'm going to leave it on a medium to medium-high heat. I created 16 egg rolls from that filling that we made, and that was just the same number of wrappers that were in that one package with 16 wrappers. I have back here another pan which is a couple of cooling racks on it, and those are going to be just to set these on to drain when I'm finished frying them. Now pick them up gently with your tongs to place them in the oil. You'll hear it to start to bubble. Now all we're doing right here, we are cooking just the wrapper on this, and it's going to bubble up. You'll need your temperature on your oil between 300 to 350. There we go. Now, if some of the juice gets out, it's going to bubble up hard just like that. Don't let that bother you. These things will fight you when you try to turn them. And that's because the liquid will flow down to the bottom and they become heavy there. So you just kind of got to keep working with them. Get them turned over. And it's stuck just a little bit. Don't let that bother you either. That color. Okay, you see how quickly that goes? There you have your egg rolls. Just as easy as that. Remember, all we're having to cook is that outer wrapper. 1, 2, 3. Number 4. Number 5. Just keep cooking these till you have them all fried and you have egg rolls ready for everybody. Wow, doesn't that look good? Hey, these are egg rolls. Now, these are some chicken egg rolls, but this same recipe works for beef and pork and also shrimp.